Gather round, fine and charming listeners. Pour yourself a cognac or frothy ale and come closer. The heat is as oppressive as politics of late, so we shall not bore you with such. For this very eve, we have such a tale to weave. Put on your listening ears, and your imaginations will take such flight. For I am Katie, daughter of Lord Booth, and my mother, his wife from the land of... Never mind. This is toxic waste of time.
And I'm Ivy, and I'm totally a princess. So we're going to tell you about fairy tales after we breaketh some ice.
Number 4.
Number 4 is video games.
Oh, all right. What's your relationship with video games, Ivy?
I used to play Frogger and Pac-Man and have not played... Well, no, okay, not true. So we had a Wii for a minute, and we played Wii bowling.
Nice.
And he got me like the whole fitness Wii thing, which is not fitness. It's just playing games.
It's
but
just gaming.
The balance board was fun and stuff like that. And we play Rock Band.
Oh, okay.
I do vocals, and my kids used to tell me I just screamed. But as far as like playing video games, I can't do it. I get yelled at by my 5-year-old granddaughter on a regular basis because she wants me to play the goat game with her, and I can't do it. And she'll be like, just transport yourself. And I'm like, I don't know how. And like all these
game. Is that the one where you're like a drunk goat just goating around?
Yes, and she plays this game like she loves it. And the other day,
Dude, it's so fun.
I cannot figure it out. I can't do it.
Like, there's the point of that game is like there's no point. You just play it when you're stoned off your ass.
Yeah, but I can't do it. I can't. I'm like, and she's like dragging me, and I'm watching this goat get like drug up the street, and it's hurting my heart. And I know that they're just characters, but it's like that's so mean. And the other day, she was in my car, and she goes, "Kick his ass," and I was like, why did you say that? And she goes, I don't know. They say it in the goat game, and I'm like,
oh.
I don't like the goat game.
Yeah.
I can play old video games. Atari was my jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I am 54 years old, listeners.
It sounds like a healthy relationship with video games. Like
I loved Frogger.
You know what your limit is. You know.
I have a Pac-Man Coach bag.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, has little ghosts on it.
Oh, okay.
What's your
relationship with video games is not dissimilar. I like video games to a point. Like there are very, very few video games that I will actually play like all the way through and really enjoy. There's many, many more that I will try and be like, meh, you know. It takes a certain thing for me to really get into a video game. The last one that I played and beat was Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Harry Potter like going to school game, and it's very cool.
That's another thing about video games that I can't. You finish them now, like you finish the game or you beat the game. You don't ever finish Frogger or Galaxiga or whatever it was. You just played.
Yeah.
Now you got
not every game is like that though. You can.
Oh,
there's
they're not?
still games that you can just infinitely play. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't name one off the top of my head, but like that has not gone away. It's just now the games that I really like the most are mostly story driven, and so yeah, there's an ending.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I loved Hogwarts Legacy. I love Zelda. I will play every Zelda game.
Okay.
Forever, because and Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Not as much as my husband, but I like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Basically what happened to me with video games was my dad as a child, my dad worked at a PC computer retail store. He was the manager there. And so we had nice computers. We did not have game consoles because he was like, why would you have that when you can play all the games on the computer that we already have? And I was like, not really, but okay. So I did not learn to play video games as a kid like my peers did.
Okay.
So I never played Mario or any of that stuff. It wasn't until I needed back surgery and I was like bedridden and basically couldn't walk for like a whole year because my insurance wouldn't pay for me to get a fucking MRI that I needed. Different story. But I had a lot of time to lay around and I needed to do something to not be depressed. So I played Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Then I played Wind Waker. Then I played all of the Zelda games. Then I started playing Pokemon. And I started realizing like, oh, there are certain games that I can play that don't stress me out or make me feel like it's a competition, you know, it's more story just. So, yeah, that's my speed. And I have a pretty healthy relationship with video games for the most part, but occasionally I will get into one and be like addicted to trying to complete it or trying to finish it. So, it varies game to game.
So I guess you have a toxic-ish relationship with video games.
There's like a note of potential toxicity, but for the most part, it's chill.
Well, I have a second relationship with video games, and that is my relationship with my son's relationship with video games.
See, that's a different thing. Let's talk about that.
So my youngest son, he doesn't really care. He'll play him or not. But my oldest son has been addicted to RuneScape since he was a child. And we had one incident where he stole a credit card out of my purse and bought pretend weapons. And unbeknownst to him, it was Melissa's credit card.
Oh, shit.
And so he got busted. It was like $250.
How much?
Like $250 total.
On stuff that isn't even real?
Stuff that isn't even real. That was my whole thing. And Jody was talking about that last night, not Orion, but he was talking about just in general these games, because I started playing Mahjong on my iPad just at random because I thought I was going to play the brain game where you can draw the pictures and all of a sudden I'm matching cards. But and I got kind of addicted to it, but it has these ads in it.
Yep.
And he was like, that got us onto the conversation of all these. He was like, I guess if you have tons of money and you want to sit around and just throw all this money into these games. And I'm like, but what are you paying for? And he's like, pretend shit. And I'm like, well, then that's stupid. And then, and this is my last thing about video games, all these commercials where people are making supposedly thousands of dollars playing video games, that has to be like the worst scam. Like people are actually, I don't know what it takes because the ads always say, oh, no money. There's no in-app purchases. It's completely free. You don't even enter a credit card. And it shows all these people getting $300 from playing a game. And I'm like, that can't be.
I don't even know. Like, we've talked about this before, but I've never even seen an ad like that. So
they're television commercials.
Wavelengths.
They are television commercials that come on when we are watching things like Love Island.
Okay.
And
well, you know, I've always said, and this is true of like Fox News. If you watch Fox News, you watch the commercials on Fox News, and you can tell exactly what they think of you, the viewer.
Really?
They think that you're old, that your back hurts, and that you're dumb enough to buy a MyPillow.
I have a MyPillow.
You can tell what they think of you. So they're saying they think the people that watch Love Island will be taken in by this.
I'm not positive it's Love Island. It could be while he's watching news. It's just, I see them on my TV. And the most recent one was a couple. They're walking down the street. And they walk past a homeless fella with a cup that he's like shaking. It's shaking the cup with the quarter in it. Like, give me some money. And apparently the couple knows him. And she says to him, oh, you're such a loser. I knew you'd end up just like this. And her boyfriend says to her, you've gone too far. Go wait in the car. And then he helps the guy up and pulls out the homeless man's phone and puts the puts the game on the phone. And hands it back to the homeless guy, and the homeless guy plays the game and wins $300 instantly. And then the homeless guy's PayPal sends the homeless guy's bank account the money. Like, I don't understand the concept of this.
I don't either, and it's stupid as fuck, but let me,
It could solve the world's hunger problems and make us all rich if it were real.
Here's the other thing. I don't think that counts as a video game. That's a mobile game. That's
Is
not
that not
the
a
same
video
thing.
game? Is when I'm playing on my iPad, it's not a video game?
Ask your son that plays RuneScape.
Okay.
Mobile games are a different tier of game.
I see. Okay.
You know, and it's not the same as like console games. It's not the same as PC games.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different levels of gamering, you know.
Interesting.
And that one is the lowest tier
Interesting.
by many people's standards, including mine.
I'm going to go with toxic-ish the whole way, all the way around.
All right.
Mobile games,
Fair
video games, kids playing video games, toxic-ish.
My husband has kind of a toxic relationship with competitive Pokemon right now. And it's because, and he's playing it on the Switch, okay, on his Nintendo. And like he and his brother play it and they talk about it together, which I love that they have something they can talk about and relate to. And, you know, they're not super close, but they talk about that, you know.
Okay.
But sometimes he gets like too into it and gets snippy, and I don't like that.
Oh, my husband has thrown video games across the room. Like
So
the
have
controller.
I. So
like the
again.
controller. And like, and he's
Skyward
got like,
Sword, I wanted to set that game on fire. Like
he's got a racing game where he's got a wheel that he sits and plays. And I mean, the cursing and the yelling and
that's a toxic
that's
relationship in my
fucking
opinion.
toxic. I'm like, really? Why do you play if you hate it so much? And like, and to go and spend like however much video games cost. When he used to have to go to the store to buy the video game, they were like $65. So I can't imagine what they are now.
It's about $60 usually.
Really? Okay. But like, you know, whole games, he'll play for like 20 minutes and be like, well, never playing that again. And I'm like, great. So I just spent $70 for you to play for 10 minutes?
Yeah. There's a lot of toxic potential with video games.
Yeah, I'm still not going to call them a toxic waste of time because
No,
back
totally not. Like
surgery.
I definitely think there's benefit to it. Like if you get enjoyment, if you're getting joy, if you can now have a conversation and relate to another person like, oh, we both like Zelda, let's talk about that. Worth it.
Oh yeah, Orion and Elizabeth, they play together and I think that's great. It's something
We've played
that's something you can
Baldur's
do together.
Gate 3 together. We,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's talk about fairy tales.
So there is a quote that comes around now and then, supposedly from Albert Einstein, who some people would consider the smartest man ever to live. It says, if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Now, while historians cannot confirm this as being a direct quote from him, there was once a woman who claimed that when she personally asked Dr. Einstein what type of reading she should be doing with her children, he replied, fairy tales and more fairy tales. The mother was like, no, seriously. But Einstein just told her that creative imagination is the essential element in the intellectual equipment of the true scientist, and that fairy tales are the childhood stimulus of this quality. So there. I like that.
I like it too. But what Einstein did not say at the time was, be sure to read the adaptations for children or there will be nightmares. You see, fairy tales were actually ancient stories for adults, and nursery rhymes were more like murder ballads. Have you heard of murder ballads, Katie?
No.
It's a real thing. I learned about it when I listened to a Dolly Parton podcast. Murder ballads are real and old-timey.
Is that like
people used
Goodbye,
to sing
Earl?
about murder?
By the
Kind
Dixie
of, but
Chicks?
that's a more recent one. No, but I can't remember the names of the songs, but there were songs that were written about murder, and they were called murder ballads.
All right, then.
It's a real thing. Who needs terrifying Bible stories turned into fun children's songs and stories when we have sweet little Mother Goose?
Yeah, Mother Goose is fucked up, actually.
Yes.
Most of our more popular fairy tales come from long, long, long ago and far, far, far away, and have been translated and adapted to many cultures and societies, written and rewritten by multiple authors. The Brothers Grimm, for example, did not actually write their stories, but rather adapted them from other versions. I would argue that adaptation is writing. but it's just
Well, yes, but they
adaptation
didn't
is adaptation.
think them the story up in their brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Brothers Grimm did not invent their stories,
Yeah.
but rather adapted them from other versions, many of which were just oral stories passed down from generation to generation in bedtime stories or fireside tales. And there is a distinction, by the way, between fairy tales and folk tales.
Uh-huh.
Fairy tales specifically are ones that include, like, imaginary magical beings.
Right, which is what we
Usually.
were
So
talking
that's-
about. Mhm.
Yes, there's a difference. Folk tales are a different thing. And they're also kind of fucked up sometimes, but also kind of awesome. So, different episode.
Right. Well, lots of fucked up things are kind of awesome. Fairy tales can be traced back thousands of years. They are of the folklore genre and are most often packed full of magic and wonder and mythical things like fairies and elves and monsters and witches and unicorns and flying dragons and goblins and pixies. Oh my!
You just listed all my favorite shit.
Mine too. Most of the time, they have a happy-ish ending, but today's versions are a far cry from ye old. Since before the invention of paper and ink, fairy tales have been told, but not just told. They were enacted dramatically and handed down from generation to generation, but mainly for adults, and thus they could get pretty grim.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? Yeah.
In the 1600s, women were not expected to be educated. No! But they could hold salons, which is a gathering of folks to discuss arts and letters, politics, and social matters of immediate concern to the women of their class, marriage, love, financial and physical independence, and access to education, etc., but also to tell old folk tales. Only now, each salonière would put their own little spin on the tales. This is one of many supposed causes of the different way each continent seemed to spin the same story.
And the thing about fairy tales, well, one of the many things, is that they are fiction, and everyone knows they are fiction. So it's not like Bible stories that are told as truth to kids, or Santa Claus that people just allow their kids to actually believe. Fairy tales are not real, and kids know it.
Yeah, and I think that's really important
Me too.
to point out.
Sadie?
According to child psychologist Sally Goddard Blythe, fairy tales are important, not because they show children how life is, but because they give form to deep fears and dreams about life through fantasy. The important thing to remember is that children take on these stories at the developmental level they are capable of. In fairy tales, it's always clear that this isn't the real world. The characters might be unfamiliar to the child, but the problems and the feelings that are dealt with are themselves often very true to life. Fairy tales give children a way, through stories, that are safely set apart from themselves, to understand some of the really confusing and difficult feelings that they can't yet articulate for themselves. So that was a long way of saying fairy tales help kids process feelings, in like a safe way.
Yeah, and they understand that the scary parts as well as the fantasy parts are just that.
Yep.
Fantasy. No one's trying to convince them that dragons are real and fly. And my bedtime story last night was about a human girl who lived with dragons. It was very interesting.
Awesome.
Even with all that being said, and kids understanding fantasy from reality, there were still many tales that needed to be made more child-friendly. Sleeping Beauty's roots are in rape, and Beauty and the Beast, Beauty is held captive and eventually falls for her abuser. And in the OG Snow White, the evil queen is punished for trying to kill Snow White by being forced to dance wearing a pair of red-hot iron shoes until she falls over dead. Let's bring that back to death row. Just put on these hot shoes and start dancing till you die.
There's other folk tales that reminds me of as well. So things get muddy in terms of origin.
Yeah.
You know?
Even the original Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is kind of a cringy tale of a woman, or mermaid, bending over backward for a dude only to be cast aside, and we will just say that she doesn't survive the heartache. Let's not even bring up the grooming of poor little Pinocchio. Maybe in another episode, chock full of warnings and triggers.
So, without any further ado, let's explore one of the most famous fairy tales of all time, Cinderella. And of course, decide just how toxic these harmless little stories that we have all been telling our kids and grandkids over the years, not even knowing they're real, pretend, and totally made up horror of happily ever after. That's a weird sentence, but I'll accept it.
But I like the horror of happily ever after.
The horror ever after.
Horror ever after.
Happily horror after.
I think we should change it all. Cinderella has consistently been the most popular of Disney princesses, as well as among the top fairy tales of all time. Some may push back on the princess part, and sure, she was not born into royalty. In most versions, she married in, and so she was, and is, a princess.
Yes, that's how princessing works. The Disney version with the fairy godmother and stuff was likely mostly derived from the version written by Charles Perrault, which is when the slippers were made of glass, and in the end, the stepsisters apologized and Cinderella forgave them, and they all lived, you know the rest. Right?
So how we think this story goes is a young girl loses her mother, and her dad remarries a mean and wretched woman with two equally horrid daughters. There are critters who come and keep poor Cindy company and help her with her chores. A handsome prince throws a ball, and Cinderella is left behind by her mean stepsisters. Suddenly, a fairy godmother appears and turns normal household items into a beautiful gown, a coach, and a pair of glass slippers. When the prince falls in love with her, the clock strikes 12 and she runs away, and poor Prince Charming cannot find her. Then he comes across a glass slipper and takes it house to house to find the only tiny foot that will fit. He finds Cinderella, and they lived happily ever after.
Nah. That's boring.
Correct. There are many variations of Cinderella. I found at least 365 of them from all over the world.
One for each day of the year.
Yeah, and I read each one. No, I didn't. Almost all of which have an evil stepmother and evil step-siblings. And a sweet young Cinderella who remains pious and good as a deathbed promise to her mother. But in the Jean-Baptiste Basile version, the name of the girl is Zezola. She does not like her first stepmother, so she murders her by asking her to get something from her chest and then slamming the lid on her, breaking her neck. So much for pious and good, huh?
Wow.
So that her father would marry her nurse. Thinking the nurse was kind and loving and child-free, it turned out that the nurse was evil and had 6 evil daughters.
There is a dove and a tree the size of a woman instead of helpful critters and a fairy godmother. The dove came to Zezola, who her stepsisters had started calling Cat Cinderella, because she slept in the kitchen in the ashes, which is a common theme, and told her, if you ever desire anything, send to ask for it from the dove and the fairies of the island of Sardinia, and you will at once have it. Eventually, she receives the tree, which can provide her with anything she wants. That seems convenient for story purposes. When the king threw a feast, she requested from the tree a disguise to attend the feast, and her wish was granted. I gotta ask you something.
Okay.
Have you seen Into the Woods, the Broadway musical?
No.
Okay, but you know what? I know that you're not a musical person, but like, this might interest you because it's a retelling of lots of different fairy tales that are kind of woven together. The first act is like kind of how you expect the fairies' tales to go. The second act is how it all falls apart.
I love a musical on Broadway. I just don't want to watch one on TV.
Oh, that's fair. They're so much better live. But a lot of people perform them. Like, that's a very often performed show, so you might be able to find like a local production. Anyway.
It sounds lovely. I love fairy
wonderful.
tales. Yeah.
And it's very well written by Stephen Sondheim.
She wound up attending the feast, and the king became smitten, but no one knew who she was. So once again, the king threw a feast, but this time only for women, and for a second time, no one could find her once the feast ended. But a servant did find her shoe, or paten, which is a shoe covering. I'm not sure why that was clarified in the story, but it was.
Interesting.
So a third feast was thrown, and the king insisted, this time it's the king, not the prince, by the way.
Okay.
The king insisted that the kitchen girl be invited. After they ate, he personally tried to fit the shoe on each woman there. And when the shoe got to Zazola, it flew out of his hand and onto her foot. And the two went to live happily ever after with the stepmother and sisters humiliated.
Interesting. In another version, the Brothers Grimm version, Cinderella, called Aschenputtel in this version, but never given a formal name, is in fact pious and good at her mother's request. Her father takes a new wife who brings along two nasty daughters who swiftly begin to convince even Cinderella's father that the girl is deformed. How? What?
I don't know, but one of his lines in the story was, "That girl is deformed." And I'm like, but you're her dad.
I don't get it. Anyways, Cinderella is once again forced to sleep in the kitchen in the ashes. I'm still on the how do you think she's deformed if you've seen
She's
her
been
at
your
birth?
daughter forever. Yeah.
What?
I guess maybe it was just in translation that word turned into deformed.
Maybe so.
But the king, when the prince came to the king, I, of course, condensed this, but when the king or the prince came to the house and asked if there's any more girls, the dad said, "Oh, just the girl from my first wife, but she's deformed." The girl
Jesus
from my
Christ.
first wife.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
This is how women are treated. Anyway.
That is one of my points with all of these fairy
Right,
tales is
right.
how women are treated.
Yes.
When her father
are
goes
men?
on a what?
It's just
Why
like,
are
why
men?
are men?
Yeah, why are men? I saw a girl on the internet the other day, and she was like, "We put a man on the moon 50 years ago. Why'd we stop? We could have had them all up there by now."
Exactly. It could have all been up there by now. Fuck.
When her father goes on a business trip, he asks the three girls what he should bring them from his trip. The stepsisters ask for extravagant, expensive items, while Aschenputtel simply requests that the first branch that strikes his cap on his travels is what she wants. The first
All
branch
right.
that hits you, the first time that branch hits you in the head, I want that branch. So when a branch from a hazel tree knocks off his hat, he cuts the branch and brings it home to his daughter. She plants it near her mother's grave, and soon a hazel tree grows and grants the girl wishes. Thrice daily she visits the tree and weeps. And each time a little white bird always came above the tree, and if Cinderella expressed a wish, the bird threw down to her what she had wished for.
Interesting. So that makes me think that we're trying to push hey, don't be greedy and materialistic,
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we reward frugality and, humility, I guess. And also, your mom is not gone. She's a bird, and she's here watching over you.
Maybe that is the mom. Mm-hmm.
That feels like the vibe. Soon, a festival is planned by a king, and after some pretty ghastly gaslighting by the evil stepmother, it becomes apparent that Aschenputtel would not be allowed to attend. She went to the tree, and the bird threw down a beautiful dress and slippers embroidered with silk and silver. Each day of the 3-day festival, she would have her wish and dance with the prince until she wanted to go home, and then she would run and hide from him. Mm-hmm. What? Mm-hmm. Girl.
I mean,
you're missing your chance.
The 3 hiding places were pretty interesting, too. One of them was up in a tree, and one of them was, in a trash barrel or something.
Girl, what? Okay. On the 3rd day, her shoes were made of gold. She once again eluded the prince. But this time he had thought ahead and had the stair covered in pitch. Pitch is a thick, black, sticky substance derived from petroleum, coal tar, and the resin of trees like pine. Wow. You looked that up.
I did.
That is accurate. So one of her shoes got stuck.
Mm-hmm. And as the old story goes, the prince went from house to house to see who the shoe fit. At Aschenputtel's house, the first sister went to her room to try on the shoe. It didn't fit, so the evil stepmother gave her a knife and told her to cut off her big toe, which she did.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is why I asked if you had seen Into the Woods, because this is the version. Yeah.
And she put on the shoe and held her tongue from the pain. The prince put her on his horse and started home to wed, but a little bird sang out.
Turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe, it is too small for her. A true bride waits for you.
He turned that horse right around and tried again with the second sister. She went to her room where once again the shoe did not fit. Her mother got the knife and shouted, "Cut off your heel and get out there and marry that prince."
Don't give up, bitch.
And
Cut off your feet if you gotta.
And so, hey, I'm telling a story here. And so, in great pain and with a cut-off heel, the second sister smiled away, and the prince started to take her home to marry. But the bird again cried out,
Turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe, it is too small for her. The true bride waits for you.
The prince was like, "Are there any other daughters here?" And the father said, "Only the little deformed girl from my first wife."
For fuck's sake, man.
And the prince said, "Bring her anyway." Of course, the shoe fit, and only then did the prince look at the face of the girl and realize it was her. Let me say that again.
So if he knew what her face looked like, then why did he go through all this trouble?
Let me say that again. Only then did he look at the face of the girl and realize it was her.
See, before he was looking at her tits, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, despite the father and evil stepmother's cries and arguments, the prince took the maiden, and as they passed the hazel tree, this time the bird cried out,
Turn and peep, no blood is in the shoe. The shoe is not too small for her. The true bride rides with you.
At the wedding, the stepsisters tried to make nice, and Aschenputtel allowed them to attend. But the bird came and pecked out their eyes.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
And happily ever after.
That fucking bird was done. He's like,
I love that bird.
I've been giving you dresses. I've been watching you. I've been telling the prince that your sisters are dumb bitches. And I'm done. I can't.
Yeah, you want to forgive those bitches? Fine, but they ain't going to have no eyes. Okay? You could forgive them. They can live in the house with you, but they will not have eyes.
Now they're deformed. You
Now
fucking bitches.
they're deformed. Those not even his daughters. That girl from my first wife. Fuck that guy.
So rude.
I'm glad that tree knocked his hat off.
Oh my God. So, the moral of this story is beauty in a woman is a rare treasure that will always be admired. Graciousness, however, is priceless and of even greater value. This is what Cinderella's godmother gave to her when she taught her to behave like a queen. Okay, I'm not, mad at that as a moral.
Right. Not entirely.
Yeah.
Young
I have
women.
some concerns.
No, there's always concerns when it comes to fairy tales. Young women, in the winning of a heart, graciousness is more important than a beautiful hairdo. It is a true gift of the fairies. Without it, nothing is possible. With it, one can do anything.
And also, getting the prince ain't the end-all, be-all of dreams come true.
You tell it.
I will.
Mm-hmm. That is
So, I have
accurate.
some thoughts before we conclude here. All right.
Oh, yeah. We have thoughts.
So, as the original story goes, I don't feel like there's really much of a problem with, the overall message, in my opinion, which seems to be don't be a little bitch. But what's up with this prince? He never took in her face at the ball. Was it a masquerade? Because, I guess that makes a little more sense, but not that much sense.
Well, in the first story, they did call what she wore a disguise.
Okay.
And in some of the stories, the stepsisters and stepmother did not recognize Cinderella at the ball, but that was because she was clean and not covered in ashes, and also they probably never paid that much attention to what she actually looked like. They decided from the get-go that she was ugly and deformed. right? Like they didn't even care that she was this fine little
Yeah.
petite beautiful girl who
Right.
lost her mother, except for the time that she killed the first stepmother. That was pretty harsh.
I didn't love that.
No.
pretty
But
messed
she was, she was determined to get rid of that bitch. And I don't
There's-
blame her.
There's also in the newest season of Bridgerton,
Mm-hmm.
which of course I watch Bridgerton.
Of course you do. Mm-hmm.
In Bridgerton this season, the love story is kind of inspired by Cinderella,
Okay.
and it is a masquerade ball at the
Uh-huh.
beginning, and so she is wearing like a mask that covers the top part of
Yes.
her face. But I've never bought that either as a full disguise. Like
Uh-huh.
I feel like I would recognize people,
I mean, if the prince fell in love with her, like they say, then why would he put those awful bitches on the back of his horse? He would know at least the shape of the woman, that he would know at least the
Exactly. Like,
height of the woman.
What are the
He would
chances they're
know-
exactly the same height and build?
There's
and have the
not.
same
And
hair?
also, if you've ever read fairy tales and seen pictures in storybooks, those girls were skinny and tall and lanky and big ugly noses, and
Yeah, they always
they
try
were
to
made to
characterize
look
them.
ugly, and Cinderella was made to look like a little princess.
Mm-hmm.
My issue with most fairy tales is kind of what we said here. Beauty is a rare treasure, and that's great and all, but you can't be a hoe. You can't be a little bitch. You can't be you can't be a shitty person and
Yes.
attract a good person. But also, why is the prince the ideal mate? Like, what do you know
for sure.
about this guy?
Oh,
What-
for sure. Yeah, it's still based in a superficial attraction to a guy just because he's rich.
Yeah. And
has
also
a title.
it kind of points to you got to have a husband.
Yeah, I mean that's also almost always the goal.
Happily ever
Of these
after is
princesses.
always the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed researching and writing this episode, and I wonder if the listeners would like, we could do more fairy tales, because Sleeping Beauty would be a fun one to get into. But there really are, like with Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast, there's more, like Cinderella is the easiest to get through the old stories. Like nobody was physically harmed except for the girls who cut their own fucking feet off, and good for them.
Yeah.
But like Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Snow White too. But Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast have some pretty bad behavior from men in them.
There is also, in fairy tales in general, especially the ones with female protagonists, it's usually like the female protagonist is beautiful because she has a beautiful heart, but she also happens to be physically attractive and thin, and have all the qualities of a good wife, right? Recently, you might like this. Okay, so I love folk tales and folklore specifically. I have become very interested in Baba Yaga. Do you know anything about Baba Yaga?
I don't think so.
Baba Yaga is a witch, and she's usually like a Russian kind of, maybe Eastern European origin folktale. Basically, most of the moral of the Baba Yaga stories is that young women will end up going to like stay with her for a while, and she teaches them kind of how to keep a clean house, how to take care of themselves, how to
Okay.
behave like a responsible person. Like she teaches them actual values
Okay.
that you will probably need to be in a successful marriage.
Uh-huh.
But it's still very like, women's work centered.
Right.
But it is a lot more empowering. So anyway, if you're interested, I think you should go look up Baba Yaga.
Okay.
Listeners too, if that sounds cool to you. If you're like pro swamp witch, then yeah. I have a t-shirt that is Baba Yaga's hut with the chicken legs.
Nice.
It's tight as fuck.
Nice.
Anyways, it's time for the vocab word of the week.
Do.
Yay. Okay, I had a hard time finding a vocab word this week, but I did my best.
Okay.
This one is
Polysemous.
polysemous
Polysemous.
or
Polysemous.
polysemous.
Is that a new
Choose
letter
your
in the
flavor.
LGBTQ?
See, that's LGBTQ rep. Um, well, interestingly, the word polysemous means having multiple meanings.
Okay.
So often fairy tales will have multiple meanings or different translations that have different things emphasized and stuff like that. So polysemous, but I think polysemous is a little bit more fun to say. That's going to be the way I
like
choose
it better
to
that
pronounce
way.
it. Sounds like you have your choice, your pick. Like many words in the Hawaiian language. What?
Oh,
Is this Hawaiian?
I like it.
Wait a second, where's the etymology here? Okay, no. I was like, no, it's not. Late Latin polysemous, from Greek polysemos, from poly plus sema. Okay? That's poly meaning multi, and then sema, I guess, meaning meanings.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's a fun
there you
word.
go. Multiple meanings.
Polysemous.
Polysemous.
Polysemous. That sounds like it should be in a song that Cinderella sings while she's. This is a story and it's polysemous. All my animal
Polysemous also
friends.
sounds like the name of like a hero in a story. Like it reminds me of Odysseus.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say the villain.
Yeah.
Polysemous.
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 It also reminds me of Polyphemus, who was the Cyclops in the Odyssey.
Oh.
So, anyways.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. So, fairy tales. Are they toxic?
I think in general, yeah, they're toxic. I don't think they're a waste of time at all, because I agree with Einstein, because I think imagination is the absolute best thing to start with your children.
Yes, that's what
letting
you want to
them
cultivate.
have an imagination, sending them off to daydream, think up stories, write stories, just use your imagination. Tell
Yes,
me lies,
encourage
tell me
play.
sweet little lies. I want to hear your stories.
Yes.
I want you to
Yes.
make shit up all day long.
I love that. And I think that even if it's not true that Einstein said that, I could kind of see it, because
Yeah.
having an open mind, being able to entertain your imagination and cultivate that is essential to truly intelligent people who are good at problem solving.
The article that I read, the first quote where it says that nobody's quite positive he said that, but the next part was an actual person who actually said, I actually met Albert Einstein. I actually asked him this question. So I don't think the article was necessarily written by that person, but it was someone who said,
there was a
this is
documented
what he
source.
said to me. Yes, I found that. It was just
Cool.
it was just translated differently. It was like a different context. So, and he could have said it multiple times in multiple ways, because if he really felt that way, if he really felt like read your kids fairy tales because it gets their imagination juices flowing.
Yeah.
Read them. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Katie, what's your favorite fairy tale? Do you have one?
Well, probably The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
But I also have a toxic relationship with the Disney version, as I think I've mentioned in some episode in the past. So I would say I'm getting to Little Mermaid, actually. So let me hold my point on that. So I think even the cleaned up and sanitized versions of the stories, we still run into a lot of toxic behavior and definitely misogyny, as we pointed out.
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of fucked up values we're passing on to kids when we default to these stories. Okay. So Little Mermaid, specifically the Disney version, is actually weirdly worse for girls, in my opinion, than the original Hans Christian Andersen. And let me explain. Okay. Because the original, she turns into sea foam or whatever at the end.
Very
Because Prince Pooh-
painfully.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it is torturous for her
It is
to
a
be a
torturous-
human. Every step that she takes is super painful. She has to learn to dance. The prince also asks her to dance to entertain him many, many times, and so everything about that is super painful for her.
And then he leaves
she
her for
endures
someone
it.
else.
Exactly. She endures it for the prince.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he rejects her, despite the pain she's gone through, to change herself and get the guy. So this is the problem that I have with the Disney version, because in the Hans Christian Andersen, changing yourself to get the guy becomes like you lose. that isn't the way. Like
Right.
that seems to be the message of that
Yes.
story is like, don't
Yes.
do this. But in the Disney version, it glorifies doing this.
All of
Right?
our Disney movies glorify women. Well, let me rephrase that. I think so many stories, movies, TV shows, books, all of this stuff, especially in the past, like when I was growing up and stuff, probably you a little bit too, it was all geared towards doing what makes him love you.
Exactly.
Do whatever it takes to make him love you. We wear high heels. We shave our legs. We
Sew yourself into that black catsuit, Sandy.
me and Kim Fowler in her room with her laying on the bed and me holding her hip bones together so she could zip up her pants. Like that, girls go through pain for boys, piercing our ears, doing, we go
Not to mention starving yourself.
some girls absolutely starve yourself. Me sitting in Stan Head's basement having to pee, but being too embarrassed to get up and go pee. It's all this. It's all us trying to conform ourselves to please a boy, and or a girl. I'm not going to say that all girls who do that are trying to please boys. I'm sure that some girls
Right,
who,
but that's what the stories are normalizing too, right? So it's also heteronormative, of course.
well, yeah, of course, but
Right.
that's just the way it was.
I mean, there's but right in the Disney version, she's like 16, and they're just like, "Sure, go ahead and become a different species and abandon your entire family so you can marry a dude you met 3 days ago."
Right,
Like,
because that's what they're for. So
I will say in the musical version of Little Mermaid, the stage musical, it's a little less like that, and it actually has sort of almost like a trans representation thing going on. So they have become aware of this, I think, at Disney, and they have sort of tilted it a little bit. So in the stage version, she does have some lines about like, I don't feel like I belong with the mermaids. I don't feel happy here. I want to be in this other place. Like she has a desire to change herself that she voices before she even meets the prince.
Which is fine if that's the case. But in the original story and in the Disney movie, she definitely wants to change to impress a boy.
Who she barely knows and has only seen once.
I'm in love with him, Daddy. Like
Daddy, I love him.
Yeah, it's just that's me in 8th grade, so it doesn't.
Yeah, that was me for much longer than that.
Of course, me too. I just remember in 8th grade, I love him so much, and you don't even know him.
I don't care what you say. We're gonna be together.
My favorite fairy tale is a story called Princess Penelope's 365 Dresses.
Oh.
Very little known, and Disney never picked it up. I have Princess Penelope tattooed to my back. So I had this book when I was a little girl, and I colored in it. I scribbled all over the pages. I bought a copy when Daphne was in the womb for $100, and then my friend John bought me a copy not knowing I had it. But the story goes like this. And
wait, hold on. What's the name of this story?
Princess Penelope's 365 Dresses.
It is by Mariette van Heuyen.
I don't know where I got
Sounds like
Madeline
a Dutch
Lingle.
name.
I made that up. Okay,
so
she only wrote 2 books, and it's been out of publication since like 1978. But
I can tell by the cover.
It's a story of this little girl who's a princess, and every single day she gets a new dress made. They have a seamstress who makes her a new dress every day. And then one day the king is like, I can't afford this bitch to get dresses every day. Okay. So he tells his wife, she's not getting any more dresses. She's up there with a whole closet full of dresses. She wakes up, dress is not by her bed. She starts crying. She cries so loud that the kitchen maid, Kate, gets worried. She comes upstairs, a little basket of green beans in her little dumpy dress. She says, what's the matter? And the princess says, I don't have a new dress. I can't get out of bed. And then the queen finds out that the prince is coming to meet her, to marry her. She looks like she's about 10, all right?
Right.
So
child bride.
Yeah, so the prince is coming to meet her, and so the queen is like, fuck, I got to get a dress for this princess. She gets the seamstress to make the dress. Meanwhile, Kate is sitting on the bed, and she's like, dude, I have 2 dresses. This one that I work in and the one I wear to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
And Penelope's like, the fuck? What do you mean you only have 2 dresses? And so she winds up wearing Kate's work dress, little apron and everything. And Kate gets to pick a dress out of the princess's wardrobe. She picks a beautiful gown, puts her apron back on, goes back to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Queen comes upstairs. Princess is in the bed with the covers pulled up to her chin. She doesn't want her mama to know she's wearing these rags. And her mom says, here, put this dress on. The prince is coming. Princess Penelope, because she's a badass, she's like, you know what? Prince is going to love me in this dress or in one of my fine gowns. And she goes and she has that lunch with the prince in Kate's dress. And when she rides off to the castle to marry the prince, they take Kate with them. Now, I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if Kate went to be their maid. I don't know if she went
Thruple.
or that's where, yeah, I don't know if she went to be a thruple. I don't know if she went just to be Penelope's BFF. But that's my favorite fairy tale.
That is so cute. I found it, and I'm looking at the cover, and she's adorable. She has like white hair and a little orange dress.
Yeah, I mean, she's tattooed to my back in that little in the maid's dress, and
I want to see you next time I see you.
Okay, and like I said, that book has been so important to me, and John was so mad at me when he bought me a copy because I think I have the only 3 copies that are left in the world, but I paid $100 for mine, and John paid $100 for one for me. And then I wound up with the scribbled in copy from my youth, the copy I bought when Daphne wasn't born yet, and so I gave one to them, and Orion's got it put away, so Daphne never colors in that either.
Yeah. Aw, that's really cute.
I love fairy tales.
Yeah. Have you seen Once Upon a Mattress?
No.
Another Broadway show. But the original was starring Carol Burnett. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So that is The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
That's like kind of a super comedy retelling. It's actually hilarious and great. Yeah.
We always called my mother the Princess and the Pea.
All right. So fairy tales are kind of toxic. What are we going to do about it?
A little bit. Well, what can we do about fairy tales besides continue to tell them to our children?
I mean, I say I definitely think they're not a toxic waste of time. They have value, okay? And there's something kind of magical about a tale that has lasted as long as these have, even if they're in different versions and stuff. What I think we should do is then invite discussion with the kids afterwards because, guys, I'm telling you, as a teacher, not as a mother, but as a teacher, I have a wide cross-section of interactions with various children in my career. Kids understand and deserve more credit than a lot of folks give them.
Yes.
And if you have a conversation in a level that, they can understand and participate in and ask the kids, do you think it was right what this character did? What do you think you're supposed to learn from this story? Or like, what could you do differently if this happened to, like there are things we can help the kids develop an understanding that isn't just like surface level, like close the book, go to bed.
Right. Yeah. And also that kind of conversation also does also work with the imagination because you can also tell them that they can continue this story in whatever way they want. Like, did Kate go and did she marry the prince's brother? Is she, does
she work in the castle and have a better job?
A better job, or did they decide
besties?
that they're just they're friends and she can go be a lady of leisure, like once they finish high school, like
she literally looks like a 5-year-old.
I know, and that's the thing with most of the fairy tales for me is not so much because I live in my household is, they call me June Cleaver with tattoos. I do the quote unquote ladies work and my husband does the quote unquote men's work. And that's how we live. And that's okay if that is your choice and nobody is forcing you to do anything. But when you speak to your children about these fairy tales, you don't only want to speak to the girls about, you do have more to yourself than what perhaps in the time that this story was written, women had available to them, but also to the boys, because the boys need to understand also if she's not comfortable in that corset, or if she's not comfortable, you can't ask her to transform for you. Don't ask a woman to change for you. It's only going to lead to resentment.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%. All right. Well, that's our episode for this week.
Yeah.
How delightful. And thank you for doing the research, Ivy, and reading 365 folk tales. One for every one of Penelope's dresses.
Yes. What a word.
I had a blast. So what are we going to talk about next week?
Well, let's see. We also,
let's
ask the listeners, too, if they would like us to do more fairy tales.
Yes, because we had a blast, and we would like to do more fairy tales if you like the fairy tales.
Honestly, if we don't hear from you, we just will.
Yeah. Well, that's all for this week. Thank you for joining us, and be sure that you plant the first branch that knocks your dad's hat off of his head
Every
next time he
time.
goes on a business trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first you got to ask your dad to make sure that he cuts that branch off and brings it home to you.
Exactly.
If he's on a business trip.
And plant it in the ground, and it'll grow, because that's how trees work.
And also, your dad's going to like you so much better if you don't ask for a whole bunch of expensive stuff and you just ask for a branch off a tree. He's going to be like, wow,
yeah,
what a humble kid. I did
what
good.
a weird-ass little kid.
I did good.
Yeah, next week we are going to be doing a little something different. This is the season of trying new things, my friends, my dear ones. So next week we are going to be doing an Oops, All Icebreakers episode. And I'm not going to tell you what the topics are, because that's kind of part of the fun of it. But we recorded this earlier in the summer, and we were kind of just saving it in our back pocket until such a time when circumstances became necessary to use it. And my air conditioner exploded last week. I mean, not exploded, but it broke, and we had to get a new one, and it was hell on earth. So I'm cool. I'm okay now, but damn, it ate my life. So this is what we're going to do. Hope you enjoy. If you love it, tell us. If you hate it, you can also tell us, and we'll see you then.
Where can they reach us?
Oh shit, yeah. Where can they reach us? You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit.
That's right.
Toxic Waste of Time.
That's right.
You can also email us if you want to. contact@toxicwasteoftime.com. And that's probably our favorite when you email us.
Yep.
But if you would like to comment, please comment. Please leave us a rating, a review. All of that stuff helps us get more people to see us and get to enjoy us as well.
Yeah, and visit us on Reddit, too, at r/toxic waste of time.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's over there right now.
Ever.
You could be the first one. You could be like the special one.
Yeah, go write on Reddit about how much you like us, or don't.
Yeah. Or just, go there.
Yeah, go there.
All right, I'm tired.
All right.
That was fun.
I loved it.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, you will. All right.
Bye.
Bye.